G file. If you don't see the file you're trying to open, make sure the file type is set to DXF or DWG. When the file is opened, the DXF DWG import wizard appears. If your goal is to convert the 2D file to a 3D part, select the Import to a New Part option and click Next. You'll see a preview of the 2D file in the next screen, along with a list of layers included in the document. For the purpose of converting to 3D, you only need the object lines that define the part's geometry. You won't need dimensions, notes, or the title block, so you can turn off as many layers as possible to clean up the drawing, then click Next. This screen allows you to select whether to import the geometry into a 2D sketch or as 3D curves. For the purpose of creating a 3D model, you'll want to make sure you're importing into a 2D sketch. With 2D sketch selected, you'll also have the ability to add constraints, import dimensions, and merge points that aren't merged in the original 2D file. These settings can save you some time and clean up your 2D data, but they aren't necessary in order to proceed with the 2D to 3D conversion. I'll leave the default settings and click Finish. The Import Wizard results in a single 2D sketch with all imported geometry sharing a single sketch. Also note that the 2D to 3D toolbar has automatically been enabled. This toolbar contains the features we'll use to complete the 2D to 3D transition. First, we'll define our front view. I'll drag a selection window around the geometry belonging to the front view, then I'll click the front icon. This group of entities has become its own individual sketch. It's also created a reference for all other views to be defined. For example, I can now select the entities making up the left view, and when I click the left icon, the view rotates into the proper orientation. And don't worry about alignment at this point. All we're doing is putting geometry into the correct orientation by folding it around the view we defined as our front view. I'll repeat the process for the top view. Now that views are in the proper orientation, the next step is to align them with respect to one another. I'll begin by aligning the top view to the front view. I'll select a line segment from the top view and Control-select a corresponding segment on the front view. With both entities selected, I'll click the Align icon, and the top view is properly aligned. I'll repeat the process with the line segment from the left view and front view. With the views aligned, I can now create 3D geometry. I'll right-click on the front view profile and use the Select Chain command. With the profile selected, I'll use the Extrude feature from the 2D to 3D toolbar. Notice that the depth of this extrusion is captured in both the top and left views. So instead of using a dimension, I'll just click the appropriate point in the top view that defines the depth of the extrusion. The end condition of the Extrude feature has automatically changed to Up to Vertex, and the preview looks correct. I'll click OK and complete the first 3D feature. Next, I'll select the two circular profiles from the front view and use the Cut Extrude feature to create the Through All holes. The next step is to use the profile from the top view to cut away the excess material. I'll use the Select Chain command and Control-select the rest of the profile. With the profile selected, I'll use the Cut Extrude feature with the Through All end condition selected, making sure to flip the direction to cut. All that remains now is to create a rib as shown in the top view. Notice the thickness of the rib is shown in the left view. I'll select the profile from the top view and click Extrude. I don't want the material to be added from the sketch plane as the preview indicates. I need the material to be added from the point shown in the left view. To accomplish this, I'll use the From section in the Property Manager. I'll use the Vertex option and select the appropriate point from the left view. I also want to take advantage of the information in the left view to define the thickness of this rib. I'll set the end condition of the extrude to Up to Vertex, and I'll pick the corresponding point in the left view. The preview now looks correct, so I'll click OK to complete the 3D model.